Hi, I'm David Davis from Actual Tech Media. We're live here at Microsoft Ignite 2017 in Orlando, and I'm excited to be joined by Mr. Chris Colotti. He's the field CTO, or one of the field CTOs at Tintri. How you doing, Chris?
Good, David. How you been, man?
I'm great. It's an exciting show. We're here at the Tintri booth. We're in the Tintri cloud, Tintri clouds. So, at Tintri, you guys have some really amazing technology, some really awesome storage, some really exciting cloud interactions, tools, things like that. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of those. So, the first one I wanted to hear about is what sort of cloud integrations? What's the story around Tintri and the cloud?
Yeah, so there's actually a couple things, right? So a lot of people don't know we do public cloud and private cloud, right? So we have public cloud integration now with S3 and IBM on-premises with CleverSafe, the old CleverSafe product, right? So we announced that. It's in beta right now, but it's coming out later this year as part of the new operating system. So you can actually take Tintri snapshots and upload them to S3 and keep them there for long-term retention, then download them to a recovery site. Or mainly it's about how long you want to go back. So most of the demos we do, we show about like a 1-year retention policy there and a shorter retention policy local because it's cheaper storage, right? The other thing that I like to talk to people about is the API stack, right? And I think one of our other CTOs will talk a little bit about that as well. But when I get into conversations here at the shows, people don't realize the amount of things we can do through our APIs and through the automation layer from a private cloud, or enterprise cloud, whatever you want to call it, environment, because it doesn't matter what you're building. I think a lot of people today are just trying to automate more stuff. So that whole API stack is really, really interesting, and I think people need to get a look at that, and I think we're going to talk a little bit later about some stuff that we're going to try to do with the community around that too. So.
Okay. All right, so Tintri snapshots can go to Amazon S3 for long-term storage. That's really cool. The APIs are really rich, so if you want to do DevOps, you want to do automation, you want to create a private cloud, that's all just baked into Tintri, included in the storage. So that's cool. And now what else do you want to tell us about when it comes to cloud?
Well, I think one of the things I'm out on the road, and I've always been a cloud guy, right? So I always get the question, why did a cloud guy go to a storage company? And it's, cloud means something different to everybody else. To me, you can't really build a cloud without the automation layer below it, and I think that's what we try to focus on. We try to focus on how we can automate, the things we can do differently. We have some really cool demos we do with a Slack front end where it's, I don't care what the self-service side of it is, it's what's behind it, what's under the covers that really makes it interesting. With all of our VRO integrations and we're an API-first company, right, which I think is what makes it interesting too. So every demo we show, no matter what you see in the UI, you can automate through the API stack. So I think that to me is what helps customers build a better enterprise cloud, or even if they're a service provider building a public cloud. We've got some really good service providers that are running on Tintri specifically because of the way they can provide services to replicate, say, a single virtual machine, right? And for people who don't know how Tintri functions, and you know this, it's everything's at the virtual machine layer, right? So all of the functions we do from cloud operations isn't at the LUN and volume, it's at the individual VM, which is what makes it different for CSPs.
Yeah. So Tintri storage purpose-built for virtual machines, VMware storage, a lot of integrations, vRealize operations, things like that. And something else I wanted to talk about is integrations with vSphere. I mean, you guys are kind of the original VMware storage, and one of the things that you guys can do that's really cool is storage migration offload.
Yeah, it's actually something we just announced with the new software. It comes out at the same time as the public cloud connector. It's part of the same operating system update. But we actually are now able to take a storage migration between two Tintri arrays, two separate arrays, and offload that using our replication engine and our replication technology. So we actually do it through our pools, through the Tintri Global Center pooling, and we do it through recommendations today, but we're actually working on other ways to do that as on an individual machine basis. But we're seeing about a 10x improvement on migrating a machine from one Tintri array to another Tintri array versus the old school storage migration in the vSphere world specifically, and we do this on Hyper-V and on vSphere, so it doesn't matter, right? We can do it with either operating system or with either hypervisor. But the old way of doing it, actually doing a storage migration on vCenter could take hours, really, depending on the size of the virtual machine. Because if you're going between different arrays, it's going to be using a network copy, and it's going to be slower, and depending on your bandwidth and everything else. So I think this is one of the coolest advancements that we've got, because I haven't seen anybody do this yet. I haven't really seen anybody be able to actually offload that and essentially tell Virtual Center that the storage vMotion's done, or tell Hyper-V that the storage migration's finished. It started and then it finished almost within minutes.
That's really awesome for Hyper-V or vSphere. So it's not a vSphere specific thing.
No, it's not actually. No, it works for both.
Awesome, awesome. So thanks so much for your time today, Chris. I'm excited to hear what Tintri comes up with next. Some really cool features, storage, migration, offload, cloud integration, automation, API first. Thanks so much for your time today, Chris.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it, David. Awesome. Thank you for having us on.